Confusion and disorder run rampant around the world. With the state of the world today being as it is, where can humanity turn for guidance and clarity? In an ocean of chaos. Today, we begin our 2021 series of Ramadan Reflections with the introduction to our topic of the vision of the Quran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and Ramadan Mubarak to each and every one of you. As we go through tumultuous times, the believers repeatedly ask, when will the aid of Allah come? Well, the answer is that it came 1400 years ago in the form of the Noble Qur'an. This Ramadan, in our 7th series of Ramadan Reflections, we delve into the depths of the Quran to extract the gems which provide us with the guidance to navigate the rocky waves of life. You know, there's no doubt that this year in and of itself, with this COVID-19 pandemic that has ravaged the world for one full year now, that we have seen a complete shift in many areas of life. And those who have been living through this 1 year know exactly what I'm talking about. There is no country on earth that is immune from the difficulties, from the lockdowns, from the quarantine, from the shutting of schools, from the closing of businesses, from the inability to travel freely, sometimes within one's own city or province or state or country. Borders have been shut, schools have been locked, and we've been left to wonder of how this came into being and when will an end come to this. But you know, my brothers and sisters, that this COVID-19 pandemic is one of the few challenges that we have faced as a humanity. For the last 1400 years or even more, from the dawn of civilization, from the dawn of the first human being stepping foot on this earth, Prophet Adam, peace be upon him, and his wife Hawa, peace be upon her. Humanity have faced difficulties in many different ways, albeit many times they were localized to a small population, a small segment of piece of earth, a small land. And as humanity has grown and have begun to lead more and more complex lives, unfortunately, the challenges have also grown. The difficulties amongst human beings have multiplied. It's true that the first crime on earth was the killing of one brother to his own, of Qabil, killing his brother Habil. But that was not the end of it. There have been challenges throughout the ages. And in this series, obviously, we'll be focusing on the contemporary era that we live in. Challenges that test the very nature of us as being human beings. You know, we've seen racial discrimination explode on the scene over the last year. Whether it be the killing of George Floyd last year in the United States of America, or whether it be the killing of innocent people anywhere in the world, because of racial discrimination, because of social discrimination, because of economic exploitation, because of wars that are imposed on certain countries by other nations. Whatever the case may be, we have seen other challenges creep up into the world. The economic corruption, where the rich 1%, as they are called, exploit the masses. We have seen people who work in sweatshops for pennies a day making sneakers that we buy for hundreds of dollars. We see the breakdown in many families today in the world. Husband and wife pitting themselves against one another rather than working together as God has envisioned within the Holy Quran. We have seen so many challenges and we continue to see challenges. And I call them challenges because a challenge means that there is a way to overcome. It's not a dead end. It's not that we have to submit and capitulate to the challenges that we as human beings have, for the most part, created by our own hands, as God has told us in the Quran. Whether it be the pollution, the corruption of the oceans, the depleting of the resources on earth, whether it be the subjugation of another human being, whether it be the animal abuses, whether it be the abuse of nature that we have done, all of these and many more challenges are things that we need to overcome. What is the solution? Where is the answer? As we will see this Ramadan, the Quran provides us, not only as Muslims, but as human beings, the answer to these and every other problem that we have faced, that we continue to face, and that we will face in the future. And so in chapter 14, Surah Ibrahim, named after the beloved Prophet Abraham, may God bless him. In the very first verse, God says the following, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ألف لام را كتاب أنزلناه إليك لتخرج الناس من الظلمات إلى النور بإذن ربهم إلى صراط العزيز الحميد. God most beautifully proclaims, Alif Lam Ra. This is a book which we send down to you so that you may lead humankind by their Lord's permission out of all kinds of darknesses, intellectual, spiritual, social, economic, political, and the list goes on. That we may be led out of all of these kinds of darknesses into the light, to the path of the all-glorious, the all-praiseworthy. Brothers and sisters in humanity and in Islam, the answer lies within this book that God gave to us 14 centuries ago, the Noble Qur'an, which was given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And God willing, in this Ramadan, in our 7th series of Ramadan Reflections, we will unpack this book and the topics that we have chosen to try and better understand what is the way forward, what is the path of God. As I conclude in this introductory session of Ramadan Reflections for 2021, let me leave you with a few points of reflection. Number one is that the Quran alone is not enough. It also needs a divinely sent leader to teach the contents and guide the people. And that leader must be immaculate, just as the book he is teaching is free of error. Point number two, the philosophy of revelation of books from God and sending of prophets is to aid in the salvation of humanity. It is to bring them from darknesses of ignorance to the light of knowledge, from the darknesses of disbelief to the light of faith, from the darknesses of division to the light of unity, from the darknesses of sin to the light of piety. And point number three, the Quran must be our source of guidance anytime we are faced with challenges in our lives. It's not only a book of devotional reading, it is a book to lead us and show us the way in every instance of our lives. So be with us this month of Ramadan every morning, where we will unpack a topic of a challenge in human society and present the response of the Quran to how to deal with those challenges or that challenge in our era today. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.